Hey everyone, what's up? This is Blaze. Hope you're all having an awesome weekend. So it's kind of like the respite between test realms, and it's the same test realm, but basically what they do is they have a break over the weekend because King's Isle doesn't work on weekends. So we have this respite right now, and basically I wanted to kind of have an overview of the test realm, what we've seen in it so far. Basically the 4 dungeons are what I'm going to be talking about, and mostly Darkmoor because that's the one that everyone's talking about with the gear and the battles and stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about that and just kind of giving my opinion on all that stuff. But basically for this first week, we did a lot of videos on everything, and the 4 main dungeons, I have videos of each of those, and then I also split up the Darkmoor dungeon into 2 parts. So go check those out if you haven't, but I'm just going to be giving my opinion on those. Before we get started, I'm in my house, my farming house, because I've been trying to get my magma peas back up to like the proper health, because the whole bottom row is still dead, as you can see, and it's kind of a process of reviving it. Actually, the whole farm was dead, so I'm trying to like revive it back up so that I can get magma, or not magma peas, so I can get mega snacks. And I'm doing that so I can make this new storm pet, because my current storm pet is alright. It's what I used back when I started leveling my storm, so I need a better pet that'll be good for, you know, Darkmoor and maybe the future world eventually. So I'm going for like 3 crit and 2 damage on that. So we'll get that eventually, but that is what I'm going for right now. I'll just be hanging out in my red bar farm during this video. So let's go ahead and get started with the first couple of dungeons. Basically the first 3. It goes from level 25 to 40 and then up to 60 for the first 3 dungeons. And you know, the good thing about these 3 dungeons is each of the gear sets that they give for these levels, these tiered levels of gear, is pretty much better than all the other gear that you can get at that level. So I think it's highly recommended that if you're kind of at this level, like 25 or so, and even if you get a few pieces of gear, it's still pretty beneficial for you. So I kind of like that. It gives you something to do. So you hit 25, you're like, hey, I can do, you know, the new dungeon. And you can go and try to get a piece of gear, because we only did each dungeon besides Darkmoor once, and I still got, you know, pieces of gear, as you probably saw in the video. So it's high drop rates, at least right now. So I would assume that if you did it, even when it goes to live, that you'll get at least one thing. The other thing is the level 60 dungeon, Zigzag, is pretty cool, because I think the gear is better than Waterworks, I would have to say. I'm not exactly sure, I haven't like compared stats, but even if the gear isn't better than Waterworks, it's still, I think, easier to get, and there's more of it, because Waterworks, basically you're going for like 3 pieces of gear. I think they do have a Thames and Rings in Waterworks, but people don't usually go for those, if there even is any. I'm not sure if there is. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Basically in Waterworks, people go for 3 pieces of gear, their hat, robe, and boots. And in the new Zigzag, like every piece of gear is dropped, even like decks and stuff. So I think Zigzag is going to be a little better for people that are level 60 trying to get gear, but maybe the best gear still is Waterworks. I haven't really seen all the gear drops for level 60, so I'd have to compare them, but I think it's still viable for people to farm that and go for level 60 gear if you're at that level. So that's pretty awesome. I'm glad they added those options in with this new update. Okay, now on to the dungeon that everyone's talking about, and that is Darkmoor. So we got our 2 Darkmoor videos out last week, and we only had some trouble on Robo Shane Von Shane, where he's like in this robotic suit. And the reason for that is because he uses Beguile starting on round 4, and he'll just cast on a random person. So it's happened before, where it's happened multiple times actually when we were farming, that he cast Beguile on me as a storm when I was hitting, like the round that I hit, so I attacked all my teammates, which, you know, sucks. And that's how it goes sometimes. So I think the strategy is just to kill him as fast as possible. So we're gonna probably try to get that figured out. And you know, you can't feint him, but you can use just a bunch of blades. So we'll probably get a better strategy figured out for that the next time we do it, which is probably a live realm. I don't think I'm going to be farming it anymore in tests. It's not really that necessary, but we'll just have to see. So my overall thoughts of Darkmoor: the entire dungeon itself, which is divided into 3 parts, does take a while. It took us 3 hours, and I know for other people it's taken longer than that. So but basically once you get through the first 2 parts, the 3rd part has Malistaire, and that's the only part that you need to farm to be able to get the good gear. So the first 2 parts you just need to really do once, unless you unless there is some piece of gear that you really need from those or some type of thing you want to farm. But otherwise, I think people are just going to be farming part 3. And part 3 has, I think, 3 bosses. Yeah, 3 major bosses. That's the ice guy that stuns you if you blade, Shane Von Shane, the robotic version, who beguiles you, and then Mouse. There's 2 forms. So there's that. That's what everyone's going to be farming, and that's what people are going to be trying to find, like, really fast strategies for that. It really does depend on your team too. Like, we had a decent team, but I think we can, you know, do even better, especially since we know what's going on with the battles, because going like through it the first time, we hardly even had any idea, because a lot of people weren't even at Malister or hadn't defeated him yet, because it takes a while. I mean, 150k health does take a lot of hits to be able to kill him, so we'll have probably a better strategy for that. Plus, you can't feint Malister either, so I think you can trap him though with like storm traps, so we'll have to try that. Probably have a better strategy for that when it hits the live realm. My plan for live realm is to record it Malister again, just Malister on my life, so you can see it from like a healing standpoint, a healing and, you know, fainting. Well, not really fainting, but blading. And there's got to be some traps. I think there's some traps you can use, like storm trap, and I'm pretty sure you can storm trap Malister, but I'll be doing it from that perspective when it hits live realm. So a lot of people have been, you know, complaining about the difficulty and the length of Darkmoor and how long it took people's teams to get through it. And I agree, it is probably a lot difficult, a lot more difficult when you go through it with just random people, because it's hard to get a team that can, you know, have all the grounds covered with blading and trapping and hitting and all that stuff, and even healing. So that can be difficult. So I would understand if King's Isle did want to nerf the dungeons because of that, but I don't know if they're going to. We're just gonna have to wait and see. As of right now, I think they're okay. They are doable. They're not impossible. So I think for that reason they might just keep them as they are. But I don't know. Who knows what they're going to change. I know they're definitely going to change that 80% resist storm hat, which is crazy. But we'll just have to see. I don't know. I'm just excited for when they do hit the live realm, so we can start going through them and you know, getting those gear drops, which it seems like the gear drops are pretty good. I hope that carries over to live realm, because, you know, people have gotten pretty much every piece of gear that's been available in these for the drops. I don't really know if there's, I know there's mountain drops for secret bosses, but I don't know if there's any like really good amulet. I think there's like one good amulet for every school, kind of like Morganth. So I know there's those, and I'm pretty sure everyone's gotten like most of the gear drops that is available at this time, so that's good. If that carries over to live realm, then it's going to be definitely well worth the time for farming. Plus, I mean, the gear there is better than other gear, so I will be doing it multiple times with my storm to try to get the best gear for him, which I'm happy about, because I didn't really want to do Hades and try to farm for that, because, you know, it would have been not worth it at this point because of these new dungeons. So I'm glad I didn't do that. There'll be a lot more gear to go for with the arrival of these new dungeons in the live realm, so that's exciting. A lot of cool stuff. That's just kind of my opinions on the new dungeons, especially Darkmoor. Let me know what you guys think of these new dungeons, if you did it yourself or if you just watched my videos on it. Kind of let me know what you guys think of them. So in terms of other stuff that's going to be happening next week, I will be continuing when the live realm opens up, or the test realm opens up again. I will be continuing to do some extra stuff, some miscellaneous stuff that is available in the test realm, like emotes. They have also some member benefits that I'll be talking about, and then there's also a catch a key game in the silver chest that I'll be looking at. So a couple of miscellaneous stuff that I'll be checking out when the test room opens again on Monday, so look forward to all that. But that's gonna be it for me today. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Basically just me giving my opinions on the new dungeons, but let me know your opinions in the comments as well. Leave a like on the video on your way out, and I will see you guys next time.